It's not every day you see royalty, Hollywood stars, legendary broadcasters, and some of Britain's most iconic actors quietly slipping into the same cathedral. But on this rare morning in London, something unusual was happening. A memorial service, yes, but one that felt more like a gathering of everyone Dame Jilly Cooper had ever enchanted. And the moment Queen Camilla stepped through the doors of Southwark Cathedral, even the crowd seemed to fall into a deeper silence, because this wasn't just a farewell. It was the closing chapter of a woman who lived life like one of her own novels. What caught people off guard first was how emotional the Queen became the second she stopped at the portrait of Jilly, smiling beside a dog, because of course, Jilly Cooper loved animals almost as much as she loved stirring the pot in her stories. Reports say Camilla lingered there longer than anyone expected, almost as if she was greeting an old friend. And honestly, she was. Her connection to Jilly ran far deeper than most people realized. But that moment was just the beginning. Inside, the cathedral was filling fast. Dame Joanna Lumley, radiant, composed, but clearly moved, described Jilly as an extraordinary woman, and her voice cracked ever so slightly when she added that the service was touching, funny, moving, and beautiful. Behind her, David Tennant, Stanley Tucci, Rupert Everett, Claire Balding, football legend Tony Adams, Rory Bremner, the kind of guest list that looked less like a memorial and more like a BAFTA red carpet. It was the kind of turnout that tells you everything about the person being honored. And yet, the Dean of Southwark captured it better than anyone. He called Jilly a woman with a champagne soul. A soul that sparkled. A soul that never dulled. A soul that made even the coldest British morning feel warm. People smiled at that, because it was true. Jilly Cooper didn't just write stories. She lived them. But something else was happening that day. Something subtle. The Rivals cast was there. Victoria Smurfit, Aidan Turner, Alex Hassel, Catherine Parkinson, and Danny Dyer, who walked out later calling the service wonderful. These weren't just actors. These were the faces bringing her iconic world, ruts higher, horses, scandals, flirtations, and all that glorious chaos, into a new era. And here's where it gets interesting. Queen Camilla had visited The Rivals set just last month. Not quietly. Not discreetly. She walked onto that set and met the cast filming the second season of the hit Disney Plus adaptation, a series that resurrected Jilly's career for Gen Z and made writers and Rivals trend again decades after their release. Camilla herself has been said to be a fan for years. Books, drama, aristocracy, scandal, it was practically written for her. But the emotional weight didn't stop there. Jilly's literary agent Felicity Blunt arrived with a tote bag that simply read, "I love Jilly Cooper." No subtlety. No polite understatement. Just raw affection. And standing proudly beside her was Stanley Tucci, whose face said everything his words didn't need to. Broadcaster Giles Brandreth, never one to hold back, summed Jilly up in one word repeated 4 times, fun. And then added that champagne was being popped in heaven today. People laughed, because if anyone earned that kind of send-off, it was Jilly. And then came the tributes from those who knew her longest. Victoria Smurfit, almost teary, said she'd been lucky to know Jilly for nearly 40 years. Sir Derek Jacobi called her a glorious lady, and said it meant a great deal just to say a final hello. But the quietest, most heartbreaking words came from her children Felix and Emily, who once described her as the shining light in all of our lives. That line echoed through the cathedral, because everyone there knew it was true. Jilly Cooper didn't just write about scandals, horse-mad aristocrats, and outrageous affairs. She wrote about people, flawed, funny, human people. And she sold over 11 million books doing it. She became a dame in 2024 and famously called receiving the honor orgasmic, because that was Jilly, unfiltered, sharp-witted, always ready to shock you just enough to make you smile. But here's the part that no one can stop talking about. Rumors online suggest she may have been working on something new before her sudden fall in 2025. A final project. A final story. Nothing confirmed, just whispers. And now people are wondering if there's a half-finished manuscript tucked away somewhere, waiting to be discovered. If there is, it would be the most Jilly Cooper thing imaginable. One last twist, one final scandal, one last ride. As the service ended, something strange happened. No one rushed out. People lingered. They talked. They remembered. And the cathedral didn't feel heavy or sad. It felt bright, warm, even joyful. As if, for a moment, everyone felt that champagne soul sparkling around them. And maybe that's why this memorial hit so hard. Because Jilly Cooper didn't just leave behind books. She left behind a feeling, a world, a mood, and a legacy that refuses to fade. A final chapter, written exactly the way she would have liked.